Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I'm Tommy Burton, and today's album is sort of a request, semi-request. Someone asked me to do Warren Zevon's first solo album, which I'm not going to talk about, but I am going to talk about his probably most well-known album, Excitable Boy, Mr. Warren Zevon. This was his third album. It was released on January the 18th, 1978, and this was on Asylum Records. And probably his biggest hit because of the top 40 hit Werewolves of London. And so this actually was the album that brought him to sort of commercial acclaim and attention. And it did go on to become the best-selling album of his career. In addition to Werewolves of London, which anyone that's listened to classic rock radio probably knows that song. But, in addition to that song, if you know it, you know that it's sort of... got kind of a humorous bent to it, and it's a little bit macabre, but a few of the songs have that this sort of twisted sense of humor that Warren had. There is a song called Veracruz. It's sort of a historical song, and it talks about the United States occupation of Veracruz. There's Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner. It is a fictionalized story of like this mercenary in Africa. A lot of people know the song Lawyers, Guns, and Money. It's sort of this story about a young American guy who is in Latin America during the Cold War. But, to just kind of write this off as a comedy album is really unfair because there are some really, really lovely songs on here. In addition to those tracks that I mentioned, there are a couple of really beautiful ballads, including "Accidentally Like a Martyr," which is just a wonderful song, and "Tenderness on the Block." And there's even kind of a dance number on here, "Nighttime in the Switching Yard." And so this album is a little bit varied for Warren, but I mean, it is definitely a straight ahead sort of pop rock album. It featured quite a few famous names around that time, most notably produced by Jackson Browne and Waddy Wachtel, who, the guitarist that a lot of people know, he also co-wrote Werewolves of London. But, it had your usual suspects of those L.A. session guys, Russ Kunkel, Cooch Korchmar, the guitarist, those guys. But John McVie and Mick Fleetwood guest on Werewolves of London. Jim Horn, a lot of people know Jim Horn's name, the horn player. He plays on the album. Jeff Porcaro, a lot of people know Jeff from Toto, percussionist and drummer. Linda Ronstadt is on this album. J.D. Souther and Jennifer Warnes also sings on this album. So he had quite a few guests and some good heavy hitters from that scene. But as an album, it's very enjoyable. And for people that are really unsure about Warren and have heard the name, he's sort of a cult figure in music. This is an album, a great place to start because it kind of sums everything up. The sense of humor, the sort of, twisted tales, sharp lyrics. And above all that, excellent melodies. You can kind of sink your teeth into this album and really enjoy it. So I recommend this as a great starting point for Warren if you're kind of not sure about where to go with him. This is a wonderful place, and I think it's an album that even if you don't go any deeper, this will be the Warren album you'll go back to quite a bit. So he has done some excellent material. He's got a varied career. It goes on quite a bit. And like I said, to the person that requested the solo album, I may get around to that eventually, the first one. But this is really the best starting point, which is why I wanted to feature it today. So today's Daily Record, Excitable Boy by Warren Zevon. Tune in tomorrow for another Daily Record. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. Comment, like, share, all that good stuff. Check out my regular channel where I go into more depth and detail. But in the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another Daily Record.